Welcome back, everyone. Let's jump right in. Today, we're diving into part 4 of our explainer series on the incredible 10-part tutorial MLOps Mastery, the complete production machine learning handbook. This is all put together by Virtualization Options LLC, which is a fantastic technology research and advisory group based out of Colorado. Now, this entire series is designed specifically for you, IT professionals and IT management, to give you a really rock-solid understanding of MLOps, and more importantly, how to actually implement it in your environment. But today, we're setting a strict boundary. We are solely breaking down Chapter 4 of the source material. We're looking exclusively at the hardware and platform layer, figuring out exactly what it takes to host and serve machine learning models efficiently.
You know, there's a reason we're dedicating an entire session just to this layer. Here is your mandate: turning those brilliant, complex data science models into scalable, low-latency software. It sounds simple, right? But the reality is, you could have the absolute best, most groundbreaking algorithm on the planet, but if you don't have the right infrastructure underneath it, it's going to fail in production. It'll time out, crash under heavy load, or it'll just cost your department an absolute fortune. So our goal today is to equip you with the right frameworks, the optimal cloud choices, and some seriously hard-hitting cost management strategies to make sure your deployments actually succeed.
To do that, we're going to trace the architecture top-down. Number 1, storage and registries. Number 2, inference patterns. Number 3, serving platforms. And finally, number 4, optimization and cost. Let's get right to it.
Okay, Section 1, storage and registries, where features and artifacts live.
Before a model can serve a prediction, it obviously needs a foundation. Think of this as the warehouse and catalog system for your whole operation. A massive part of this is the feature store, and you've got a menu of platforms currently dominating the space. On one side, there's Feast. It's open source, it's cloud agnostic, and it's incredibly flexible, especially if you're integrating with processing engines like Spark, but you got to manage the infrastructure yourself. On the flip side, you have the fully managed cloud giants. We're talking SageMaker Feature Store on AWS, Vertex AI on Google Cloud, and Azure ML Feature Store. These give you serverless, super low-maintenance backends, which is perfect if your enterprise is already heavily bought into one of those ecosystems.
Now, when a model is sitting in an online store just waiting to make a real-time prediction, it needs context, and it needs it literally instantly. The P99 latency target for online stores, meaning 99% of your requests have to finish faster than this, is under 10 milliseconds. Less than a blink of an eye. Real-time inference just doesn't happen if fetching user data takes too long, which is exactly why this ultra-fast retrieval relies on high-performance backends like Redis or DynamoDB.
But data is only half the equation, right? You also have to store the model artifacts themselves. Enter model registries. Generally, you've got two paths here. You can use something like MLflow models, which gives you this beautifully standardized, portable format for cross-platform deployment, whether you're using scikit-learn, PyTorch, or TensorFlow. Or you go with platform-native registries like SageMaker or Azure ML, which natively integrate directly with their cloud's approval workflows and tracking dashboards. For IT management, let me tell you, the registry is everything. It is your ultimate system of record. It tells you exactly who approved a model, when they did it, and what metrics justified pushing it live.
All right, let's keep moving. Section 2, the 4 inference patterns.
So we know where the assets live, but how do they actually run in the wild? In enterprise MLOps, inference usually falls into one of 4 distinct patterns. First up is real-time, using REST or gRPC endpoints. Think fraud detection, where you need a yes or no the literal second a credit card is swiped. Second is batch inference. These are your scheduled jobs processing massive datasets, where overall throughput is way more important than instant latency, like overnight demand forecasting. Third, we have streaming. This is event-driven inference triggered by systems like Kafka, perfect for chewing through IoT sensor data on the fly. And fourth is edge inference, where you deploy the model straight to a device. Imagine a mobile phone doing offline natural language processing, or maybe a factory camera running vision detection right there on the hardware.
If we look really closely at that first pattern, real-time endpoints, the math is pretty unforgiving. The SLA, the service level agreement for real-time predictions, usually demands a P99 latency of under 100 to 200 milliseconds. Let that sink in. That incredibly tight SLA dictates your entire infrastructure. There is zero room for unoptimized deployments, bloated code, or bad networking when you have less than a fifth of a second to get an answer back to the user.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, serving frameworks and managed platforms.
To actually hit those crazy aggressive SLAs we just talked about, you need the right software catching the traffic.
If your team wants to build out the stack themselves, there is a fantastic open source menu. TorchServe is brilliant for PyTorch native multi-model serving. TensorFlow Serving gives you those high-throughput gRPC connections. Then there's NVIDIA's Triton, which is an absolute powerhouse for multi-framework deployments heavily optimized for GPUs. And finally, BentoML, which is framework agnostic and Kubernetes native, giving you a ton of flexibility for modern containerized setups.
But hey, maybe you just don't want to build and maintain the serving software in-house. Completely understandable. In that case, managed cloud platforms are your best friend. SageMaker real-time endpoints, Azure ML managed online endpoints, and Vertex AI prediction basically abstract away all the heavy lifting. They've got built-in auto-scaling, out-of-the-box blue/green deployments for super safe rollouts, and even serverless options where you're only paying for exactly the compute you actually use.
And finally, Section 4, Optimization and Cost Management.
This is the step that gets the most scrutiny, right? We have to make all this high-powered infrastructure affordable, because ML compute is not cheap. But check this out. What's really fascinating here is how a simple math trick becomes a strategic weapon for your IT budget. It's called quantization, specifically moving down to int8 precision. It basically lowers the numerical precision of the weights in your model. It sounds super technical, but for an IT leader, it translates to one thing: needing way less computing power to achieve the exact same business result.
The impact of this is massive. Quantization can easily shrink a model's file size by 4 times. 4 times! And it gets better. It can cut your inference latency in half, and sometimes even make it 2 or 3 times faster. That means you are serving more traffic on smaller, much cheaper instances. You're taking a deployment that might have been totally unaffordable and making it highly cost-efficient.
Now, beyond compressing the model itself, we've got some rapid-fire architectural cost reduction tactics you absolutely should be using. Use spot or preemptible instances whenever you have fault-tolerant workloads. Implement scale-to-zero capabilities for internal or low-traffic models so you aren't paying a dime for idle time. Pre-warm your instances for scheduled traffic spikes so you aren't over-provisioning your baseline compute. And perhaps most importantly, right-size your instance types based on rigorous load testing benchmarks, not just developers guessing what they might need.
Just to really hammer home how impactful these tactics are, simply by shifting your batch inference jobs over to spot or preemptible instances, organizations are routinely seeing dramatic cost reductions of 60 to 80%. I mean, when you're chewing through massive enterprise datasets, savings like that are a total game changer for your department's bottom line.
So, as we wrap up Chapter 4's look at the platform layer, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. Is your MLOps infrastructure actually right-sized for your models, or are you just paying for guesswork? I highly encourage you to audit your current stack. Look closely at your latency, your instances, your registries. Get this foundational layer right, and you're setting the stage for everything else to succeed. And you are going to need that solid foundation because in the next part of this Explainer series, we are diving headfirst into governance, security, and compliance. You definitely won't want to miss that. See you then.